Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, we're talking about Nintendo, Ryujinx, and Ares. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about good old Nintendo, a company where I love their games but really dislike a lot of their corporate practices. It looks like Nintendo is yet again abusing YouTube's copyright and DMCA system, which really should come as a surprise to absolutely nobody. If you didn't think Nintendo was scared of the Steam Deck, well, this might change your mind. So fellow YouTuber The Fox was one of the very lucky people to get their hands on a Steam Deck before it even launched. As soon as it launched, he's posted a bunch of videos on the Steam Deck, including a few with emulators. Here we can see RPCS3, we can see Xbox, and we can see a short with Yuzu. There was also a video on here with Yuzu and Ryujinx up and running, but that's been taken down. Absolutely every single sign points to Nintendo, which is interesting because the Fox, also known as Kirby, is a massive Nintendo fan. Just take a look at their Switch collection. Now, I am not a lawyer and this is not legal advice. From my understanding here, emulation is 100% legal provided the emulator isn't using any stolen code from the parent system. In this case, both Ryujinx and Yuzu aren't using any stolen code whatsoever, so therefore they are legal. In terms of your own ROMs, if you're using ROMs from games you own and you rip them yourself, from my understanding that is also 100% legal. And it looks like Kirby owns the games that he was showcasing in his video, so I don't really see any issue here. But Nintendo didn't really seem to care and they took down the videos anyway. So this to me is where Nintendo is flat out abusing YouTube's copyright and DMCA system, and I would argue that YouTube should look into it, but YouTube probably won't, and Nintendo will probably continue on this very questionable and I would argue unacceptable practice. So to sum things up here, whether or not you want to believe it, it looks like Nintendo is terrified of Switch running on the Steam Deck, which is why they're trying everything they can to scrub YouTube of all existence of it. Next up, we're talking about Switch emulation and Ryujinx. It appears that Ryujinx already has Kirby and the Forgotten Land up and running. And that demo just came out. There is a video of this if you want to check it out on Ryujinx's official Twitter. I'm just not posting it here for obvious reasons. But it is the demo version of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, so it's not some sort of leaked version here. We can see it's running in docked at 3 times resolution, so it's already looking better than it does on the Switch. And it's running at a full 30 frames a second, and that gets a big thumbs up. Now, if you have an AMD GPU or you're not getting the performance you're looking for out of Ryujinx, you can try out their experimental Vulkan version, but this is a little bit different than their standard version. I will leave a link to this GitHub page in the description below, so feel free to check it out. Once you are here, you'll have to scroll down quite a bit to where we can download the file. And once we're here, we can see 3 different files that don't say headless. You don't want the headless version. We have one here for Linux, one for OS X, and one for Windows. This might take a bit of time to download, so be patient. To show you the option in action, here is the standard version of Ryujinx. If we go to options and go to settings and go over to graphics, we don't really have any option to switch the renderer. However, on the experimental version, if we go to options here, go to settings, go to graphics, we can now see the graphics backend, which is auto-selected as Vulkan. I can also change it back to OpenGL if I want. And lastly for Ryujinx, if you have a Steam Deck or if you're using Linux, there is an installer here called Pinejinx, which has been endorsed by the Ryujinx team, and it does have some performance tweaks that you might want to pay attention to. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Next up here and last up, we're talking about Ares, which just got a brand new update. Ares, for those who are unaware, is a multi-system emulator focused around accuracy. It's kind of like RetroArch, but there are a lot of things different. Some people would say it's not like RetroArch at all. It's also kind of like MAME. Ares was built around BSNES and Huygen and has since expanded from there. And Ares was started by Nier, which is incredible. So Ares here has some new features and it's looking pretty good. They've introduced support for Apple, but this does not mean iOS. And also here they're using the MAME RDP for Nintendo 64 emulation if you don't have Vulkan. So if you are using this for N64, you should see quite a bit of improvement if you don't have Vulkan available to you. And they've also added in a brand new mode for 2 different systems, the SNES and TurboGrafx. It's called Pixel Accuracy Mode, and at a really high level here, it allows games that require mid-scanline effects such as the infamous Airstrike Patrol to function properly. Now, I checked my previous videos and I didn't see a tutorial for Ares in there, which was kind of surprising, so I will be doing a tutorial in the near future just to show you how to get up and running with it. But anyways, that is all I've got for you today. This was a little bit longer than I wanted, but at the same time, it was still straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. Let me know your thoughts on anything we talked about today in the comments below, whether it was Nintendo, the amazing Ryujinx, or even Ares. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.